All right, recording is started, and this is the December 19th, 2024 Crossplane community meeting. This is the last community meeting of the year, clearly, and then we'll reconvene back in January again together. So let me drop a link here into the Zoom chat, and this link will be able to take you directly to the agenda doc, and we have a lot of text in the agenda document, but I don't think it's going to take a lot of time. So I think there's if there's topics and stuff that folks want to talk about, you are more than welcome to go ahead and drop that your agenda topics in there, and we'll talk more about that. And okay, still organizing some windows on my screen. Sorry about that. But cool. All right, so let's jump on in to everything that's going on. And then a quick note is that near the end here, we'll have an exciting a demo. Evgeni has joined us today to show off the work they've been doing with Overlock, which seems pretty cool. So we'll see a demo and we'll see some cool stuff coming out of the community. But we'll save that in the end so that we'll have more time to just talk and explore it together. So let's get through all the business agenda first. So we did not meet last time. In November, we canceled because that was during KubeCon week. Folks were in Salt Lake City, and so we didn't get a chance to sync up there. So it's been, it's been almost 2 months since we talked last. So there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. I tried to capture like all the releases and stuff since then. So we're not going to click on every single one of these, but a couple of highlights to go through. First is that we did a series of patch releases just this week here, a couple of days ago. The 1.17 and 1.16 releases were focused just on security updates for our dependencies. I think that was the Golang crypto library that had a vulnerability. And there's a new Golang vulnerability that came out today as well. So we're gonna have to respond to that too. But I think that was the one that it was. And then of particular note with 1.18.2, I did want to talk about this because with 1.18, when we promoted environment configs to beta, the way that we did that was such that it prevented users from being able to downgrade back to 1.17 again. The underlying reason is that when we promoted to beta, we updated the version of the storage version of the CRD to beta and removed alpha. And so it means you can't go back, basically. So this is not the first time that has bit us. We've made this mistake more than once. And so it's time for us to stop making this mistake again. And so we've outlined a process and a policy of how to promote APIs within Crossplane so that they will continue to be, downgrade compatible as well. So the intent is, if you upgrade, you should be able to roll back and go back to the previous version as well. So we've got a process outlined for that. We need to formalize it and kind of get it committed down and have that as like a contributor documentation as well. But I think we've landed on a good plan for that, at least. And so we are maturing some APIs again in this release, in the 1.19 release coming up. And so we will follow that process. And specifically, we're expecting, we already have matured the usage API to beta. And so that, we'll follow that process of making sure that you can downgrade from it as well. And then claim server-side apply is expected to be promoted to beta as well. And we'll also follow the process for that. So I think that we made this mistake for the last time. I really hope so. And, sorry for the pain that it caused folks, and we should not be doing this again. So that was the thing to note for the most recent the patch release on the 1.18 branch. There were a bunch of other releases. We actually did 1.18 since we saw each other last time. So let's look at that real quick too, and just see what the highlights were from that one. As we talked about, we matured environment config to beta, and we saw the downgrade problems that introduced. But that was a big change that was important to note for 1.18, and it did have impact on existing compositions as well. So we talked about this in the community meeting before, but it is pretty important, where environment config, the API, is now in beta and it is mature, but the previous support, the native support in classic, patch and transform compositions was removed during that as well. So we've got, automated migration tooling to help update to, using functions and being able to support environment config with all the same functionality you had before. All that tooling is automated, and I don't remember any real big bugs or anything coming out of that. So it seems to be working well for folks. So, hopefully that helps folks with their migration, and we're happy to have feedback on if there's anything that needs to be improved with that process. There are also a bunch of really, really good package manager improvements as well. And, being able to automatically manage dependencies and not let them go stale, being able to authenticate more easily to private registries when installing packages and their dependencies as well, and then being able to do for signature verification on packages as well. So lots of good stuff went into 1.18. It was a pretty solid release, and then we're going to be continuing to build on some of that stuff, and we'll talk about in a minute here for 1.19. All right, yeah, so let's talk about 1.18, because and there's other release notes that folks can check out here if you want more details about other past releases from Crossplane since we met last. So 1.19, that's coming up. It will early February is the scheduled release for that one. Is Mark on the call? Because Mark was going to be yeah, sweet. We wanted you to be the release manager for 1.18, but there was a whole bunch of things that had to be coordinated across multiple projects during that time. So Mark, we moved you to 1.19. Are you still up for it, buddy?
Yeah, all good.
Sweet. All right, sounds good. So Mark is going to be our release manager. Definitely looking forward to having that help there, and appreciate it, Mark. So let's take a look then at some of the big stuff that's going on there. So as we talked about, the usage API has already been promoted to beta. That has been merged. That is, matured to what we feel like is kind of landing on the final API shape and functionality, etc. So check out that tracking issue there if you want to see sort of the final things that were decided for it, especially around like replaying a deletion attempt when the protected resources are finally removed. But that is in, and that should be done for 1.19. We've also got a lot of other very interesting things going on as well that are all in flight. So a lot of things happening in 1.19. Ezgi, you're on the call. Do you want to quickly mention about your dependency downgrades design?
Yeah, sure. So dependency downgrades are a little bit more risky compared to the upgrades. So at the beginning we decided not to include it in the feature. But then there were some requests coming about the downgrades, and rollbacks are also important. We want to support it with the CI workflow. So I have opened this one pager to discuss what might go wrong when we downgrade the package, and what kind of tooling we might provide to users to catch this earlier. So if you are interested in, please provide some feedback. It's open PR. And we plan to have this configuration behind the helm flag actually, together with the existing feature flag. If users enable that functionality, the dependency packages will be automatically downgraded if the configuration requires that version.
Awesome, Ezgi. Thanks for going over that for us. And I think that'll be useful to have that as another option for dependency management in the 1.19 release. Cool. As we also mentioned, server-side apply for claims is we're expected to take that to beta as well. That's I think since the original implementation of that, it has worked fairly well. I have not seen a lot of issues, bugs, negative feedback, etc., about the implementation while it's been in alpha. Most of the feedback we've been getting is that folks are very excited about it because it does solve some very useful scenarios for people. Folks wanting to move that to beta. So there's demand for this to get matured. So we're spending time on that. It looks like the checklist isn't too large. Most of it is around QA, testing, reliability sort of stuff. So we expect to have that matured to beta in 1.19 also. And then kind of back as a bit of a prerequisite almost for our QA perspective, the end-to-end tests in Crossplane have been in a not great state for kind of a while now. And it does make it difficult for us to be able to release with confidence and know that we're not regressing and that everything is working well. So we've spent some time and some cycles already on improving the reliability of our end-to-end tests so that we know that, hey, we're making a change and things will still work well after the change has been made. So, that's helping us have confidence that, usage API maturing, server-side apply maturing, all of those things are going to be still working well. And then I don't think we're going to promote them to beta, but we are investing in and maturing some of the features that came out in alpha for 1.18, which were, verifying signatures of Crossplane packages at installation time. And then the automatic dependency management stuff that Ezgi was just telling us about, we're maturing and investing in both of those as well. We do also want to mature real-time compositions. I know there's demand for that as well. Folks definitely like being able to update the composition, especially like if they're iterating on it and seeing those changes happen, very quickly and almost immediately in response because there's watchers set up. That one is tricky though. It definitely does some complicated watcher reconciliation type of logic on it that is kind of difficult to debug as well when things don't go wrong or there's some sort of deadlock or something, a missed event or whatever it is. So we are trying to mature that as well, but that one, we're not going to make a guarantee on that going to beta in 1.19 because I think it is going to be a tough one. Any other big ticket items for 1.19 that folks want to talk about? That's kind of a lot that's going on. Oof, okay. Anything else for 1.19, folks? Okay.
Jared, I have one
yeah.
thing for this real-time composition stuff. This is in closed PR. And I think Nick mentioned this closed PR as perhaps he fixed this, but I can reproduce it already. Does it make sense? I add this ticket here for request.
Which one, Christopher? Did you send a link?
Yeah, let me add
you're
this.
You're putting in the doc? Okay.
Yeah, let me add this in the doc.
Yeah, and if I use my psychic abilities to guess which one you're talking about here, so are you yeah, well, maybe I'll just click instead of trying to be a psychic. Okay, and so was this closed because like Nick had restructured like our caches and stuff?
Yeah, he restructured it and said possibly this will fix, but this is definitely not fixed.
It still reproduces.
Yeah, I did this today.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, not awesome, but that's good to know.
I can like make a response on the pull request that this is not fixed.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. That's not super surprising, Christopher. But yeah, do make a comment on that to know that. And then the approach and the approach we were gonna take for real-time compositions was that like kind of a don't assume anything really, like test it, verify it, like see what's going on with it, and kind of start from scratch on some of the things a little bit. So yeah, we should be pretty thorough about this one and not just assume, yep, it's ready to go to beta. It's not ready to go to beta. It does not work completely. So cool. Thanks, Christopher. Appreciate it, dude. And I just saw like a graph on there of like the feature architecture, and I was like, oh gosh, that is complicated. That's a reminder. That'd be fun. As always, folks, we have some issues, some links here of unassigned issues for P0, P1 important issues that are unassigned for 1.19 and beyond that as well. And then a good first issues link as well. So folks want to be getting involved and have big impact right away too. There are some issues that are up for claim that would be pretty important.
Yeah, Jared, I have one item too for one night,
Marcus.
possibly. There is a Git issue for the high-level metrics, and there was some code that I wrote that enables folks to get claim duration information. And initially, our implementation here, it's providing histogram type information, and there was a concern about cardinality, but the code that many Crossplane users actually benefit from just simply needs low to no cardinality information about how long does it take for a particular claim to be ready, right? Time to readiness. And I talked about this with Etsky, and we wanted to see if we can actually maybe take that code or an implementation into Crossplane, and I wonder if we can do that in the 119 timeframe. And I'm going to link the issue. Let me go to the doc and add it for you.
Awesome.
Let me see. Where's the doc? Well, how about I put it in the Zoom chat, because I don't know where the doc is right now. Chat.
Yeah, the Zoom chat has a link to the doc, to the agenda doc as well too, Marcus.
Okay,
but
so
I'll click on this so we can bring it up.
If you scroll all the way down there, I was a comment from Stefan also regarding that, all the way at the bottom.
Wait, so yeah, so I definitely got a little confused by this, honestly, because it seemed like, you know, that if you that there's kind of potentially conflicting opinions here of, hey, this doesn't explode cardinality, and then Stefan saying that it does explode cardinality and causes a problem. So I'm not actually sure which side is correct here. I don't have the expertise on that one. Is that, have you synced up with Stefan and Ezgi together to kind of get aligned on this one completely?
I last talked with Stefan, and I'm happy to circle back with Ezgi.
Cool. And then so, oh, go ahead, Ezgi.
It's not about cardinality actually, so we are just gonna add a Gauss metric, and it will be based on the GVK of the claim. The reason we didn't add it back then was about the listing claim resources. Since claims and composites are dynamic by their nature, there are no well-defined GVK. When we start Crossplane, we need to implement some kind of a caching for listing them and store the information, because each time we reconcile, or each frequency we defined, we are going to list the existing claims and then check some metrics and send those to the existing metric server. So that listing operation is costly. We need to implement some kind of a caching mechanism for them. And we didn't have time back then. So we decided to postpone that implementation later. So it wasn't about a technical reason. It's about the high cardinality, etc. So there's no blocker in that sense. We just didn't have enough time to implement that caching mechanism so that we have a high performance metrics in place.
Yeah, and I do have some code I'm happy to share with you, Ezgi.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, like, yeah, metrics are not, you know, not an area I've focused a lot on. So if, like, you know, you three like are aligned on, you know, the impact or like the way to do this appropriately, and with performance considerations, then, you know, if that can get done, then like it's certainly a valuable information for users of Crossplane. There's no doubt about that. So I have no problem with that perspective. Cool. Thanks for bringing that up, Marcus.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. So let's check out the providers, functions, ecosystem, all that sort of stuff. Jim went and added this information here for us, but I don't know if they're able to make the meeting as well. I don't see them in the attendees list. So we'll just do this here real quick. So a bunch of updates for providers, and if there are other providers and functions and stuff like that that folks want to include in this list, please feel free to add it and we'll accept that suggestion into the document here. But yeah, all of the you know, Upbound's official providers got a round of patches to update their underlying Terraform providers, but also to address security vulnerabilities. I think that, as I mentioned at the beginning of this call, there's another Go dependency vulnerability that came out this morning. So you may need to expect another round of patches for that. You know, we're taking security very seriously, and any vulnerabilities in our dependencies will be patched pretty quickly. So there may be another round of updates coming as well too. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not really sure which way. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Golang. Seems like there's a cluster of vulnerabilities that have been found recently. I also wanted to do a quick little shout out for community contributor here. So there was a change implemented to basically the functions ecosystem, the function templates for Go, and then a bunch of the popular functions as well, to kind of minimize the base image that's used in that function, the image that function uses. So you moved it to a static image there because it doesn't use C. It doesn't do any C Go, calls or anything like that. So this contributor went and made those changes to a bunch of the popular functions across the ecosystem. So all of those got patch releases this week as well. So they're up to date, and they're using a reduced surface area for their base image, which also helps with security as well. So thank you very much for driving that and helping us get that out there to the functions ecosystem. All right. There's a number of investments that are going on in our provider jet generation tooling and stuff. So there's a number of PRs and continued investments and progress there as well. If folks want some details about those, you can click into those and keep an eye on that. And then, as always, we do have a special interest group that's focused on the UpJet tooling and generating providers and all that stuff. So that meets, I think they meet every 2 weeks. And so you're always welcome to join there and get on the agenda and talk all that stuff too. All right. So we got, we're doing good with time. So Evgeni, we'll still have plenty of time for you at the end, my man. So as usual, we got a whole bunch of interesting content here. One of the ones that I really wanted to call attention to is that this one right here, that Nick wrote a recent blog post here that gives people a very practical approach about how to evolve and mature your composite resource, your APIs that you're defining for your platform with composite resources, composite resource definitions, etc. So Nick really kind of breaks this down pretty simply for us, because there's a lot of complexity around managing and maturing and evolving APIs over time, and backwards compatibility and all that sort of stuff. So Nick really kind of helped out here of like, hey, this is how you do this for a practical sense. So I think this is a really useful document that folks should be referring to for you're creating your composite resource definitions, and then over time you have ways, new scenarios you want them to apply to, and ways you want to evolve them. This is like the best thing I've seen for how to do that ever. So please do read this if you are a platform engineer that's creating composite resources. Yep, and some other cool stuff here that folks can click through on their own time. As always, if there's any sort of blog post, webinar, live stream, whatever about Crossplane, feel free to just send it to me and I'll collect them here for all of us to see. I thought that we had shared this last time, but that's not possible because we did this work after the last community meeting. So I'm gonna go ahead and share it now. I just feel like I've talked about it a lot since then, and I must have been at KubeCon or something. But we did take the time since the last community meeting to basically author a getting started guide for how to contribute to Crossplane. So this section here in our contributing guide is all about like where to go and how to find ways to get started and get involved and start contributing to the core or to the extensions ecosystem or to docs, etc. So this is a really good document here to kind of help orient you, navigate, and find places to contribute and help out. So let me know if there's any questions still that people have after reading this, so we can continue to invest in this document. But I think it's a really good place for folks to get started and have as a foundation for contributing to Crossplane. So it's in the main contributing doc inside of the core Crossplane repo. So easy to find. All right. And then there is some updates and some progress on our graduation effort finally. As folks that regularly attend this meeting know, we submitted our application back in February. So it's been a little bit. But now we have assigned a technical oversight committee sponsor. We have one who's guiding us and stewarding us through the process now. We have started officially the due diligence period. We did our kickoff meeting with our TOC sponsor just yesterday. We've got our security self-assessment that's merged and done as well. So we are in, I don't want to say we're near the end because due diligence takes a while. But this is like the last segment of, there's no more waiting around. Like we're in the thick of it, we're doing it. Once we get through due diligence, then we'll have like the public comment period and the final votes, etc. So I am remaining optimistic here that we'll have this done in a couple months, and we'll be able to celebrate Crossplane being graduated. Folks that have submitted their information to do adopter interviews with the Technical Oversight Committee, our TOC sponsor, Karina, said that she could start doing those ASAP. So she should probably be reaching out to you all soon to schedule your adopter interview and kind of tell your story and your experience with Crossplane. And let me know if there's any questions around the process for that, or help scheduling or anything like that. Any way that I could be helpful in service of folks being successful with these, just let me know. Okay, it's enough of me talking. Oliver, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. I think you're here to go ahead and talk about some of the provider SQL contributions and stuff you wanted to talk about.
Yes, hello guys. So from my side, actually, at the beginning of the year, we were in my company trying to work on a new platform project, and I found this provider SQL interesting for us to use, because it will help DBAs, if you want, or like the process of organizing our database systems when deploying new platforms. So we began to use to use this provider, but I saw some limitations, and so inside I did some contributions. One of the PRs, it's not yet merged, but I'm speaking with the maintainers, and I think it will be merged soon. I don't know. It's been for a while for this provider. Like, it was stopped for a while. I saw no contribution in it, and now it is launching again. So I saw like one a new release last like 2 weeks ago, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, and also in November, and before it was like 3 or 4 months ago. So actually, we are using this provider, yeah, and I would like to actually make things go faster on the side, because maybe we'll use more we'll do more contribution in it, and we want to use it more in our company. So that's it. So for me, if you want inside, if you go inside, you see, for example, my PR is the first pull request now, and this is basically some I added 2 fields for Postgres databases. So if you go down, you can see maybe the fields. So these are the tests I did. Also, I enhanced the testing, the integration testing from end to end. So PostgreSDB was not tested, so I added the testing, and I added also 2 fields, so to control more privacy, let's say, on the database itself. And so the creation of the database and the creation of schemas, and all this, it was like in collaboration with our team and the DBAs inside, like how do they do the process. So yeah, so I mean, I think it's interesting also to share it with the community, since we are using this this project. So what do you think, guys? I mean, how can we make things move forward on this provider development?
Yeah, Oliver. So a couple ideas. And well, first, like thank you for you're using this provider. There's some improvements you see, and then taking the initiative to make that investment, and kind of spend time testing and building new things to make it better. Like, that's always a really great thing to have happen. So the entire community or ecosystem of providers and extensions, that's a great thing to have happen. So thank you for that. And then it is good. Like, something that's really good here is that, like, you have some communications with the maintainers here. I think that's the Grafana folks mostly that are maintaining this. That, you've got communications with them, you're kind of getting some reviews, you're discussing some things, etc. So that is good. This is not like a provider that's kind of been abandoned. It's not like it's completely unmaintained. It's a little slow, yes, but it's not like completely unmaintained. So that is at least a good starting point. And then the work it looks like you're doing, Oliver, is I think it seems like it's pretty solid from the perspective of like, hey, you're also seeing like some testing deficiencies and adding that as well. So I think those are really good signs from the perspective of longer term investments into this provider. So something we can explore with the existing maintainers, of course, is like you could yourself be on a path to being a maintainer as well, of contribute, like being part of that team there to kind of help review and help push things along. That is like a process that kind of you have to build a little trust together with the existing maintainer team. That's something that could really, that it certainly looks like it could be on a path for that. And then if you've got other folks within your organization that also want to be contributing as well, then there's more opportunities for them to get involved and help increase the velocity here also. So I think there's always going to be a reality around, hey, maintainers, have a lot of demands on their time, and there may be a little bit of difficulty with getting quick turnarounds. But it looks like you're making the right investments, and looks like you're on a path of being thorough and taking initiative and contributing quality code that could help you yourself be joining the maintainer team as well. So that's kind of just like some initial thoughts on it right now.
Okay, that's great. So anyway, I joined the community on Slack, so we can chat whenever we want, and we can make things go forward. As you, I don't know if you have like special meeting for this kind of, like for example for the provider, maybe I could be invited into it, or
yeah, I don't think that there's this like a specific SIG or a group for this particular provider, but like, yeah, it does have like, as you were already on, it does have that dedicated Slack channel to it. And then feel free as well, Oliver, like if you need some help like getting in touch with people, or need some eyes on things, like feel free to ping me as well, and I'll see what I can do to help kind of move things forward and communicate as well too, man.
Okay, cool, great, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for your efforts. Just add my 2 cents?
Of course.
This just happens to be one of the features that we are also waiting on. So I'm really happy that Oliver has taken it up to implement this. I'm in a fight with my Q and DBA team, who have selected a new provider actually, or a new operator actually to shift to. But I was really pushing on them to stay on the Crossplane path. So I'm looking forward to checking out this merge request. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
for this specific feature, Tim, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for this specific feature.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, and Timothy, don't hesitate if you want to review the PR also, and like give me feedbacks if you are okay, like with the approach, because it's very opinionated, opinionated, you see, so it's like, it's my opinion about how it should be done, but maybe you have more insight, so I'm okay if you want to share more about your case.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, I will get in touch with you.
Okay, very good.
Awesome. That's awesome to get you all connected here for folks that are looking for this functionality. That's amazing. So good. Yeah, I'm really glad you all are both here today to talk about that. Sweet. All right. Yeah, thanks, Oliver.
Thank you.
All right, Evgeni, I will go ahead and turn it over to you. I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can share your screen and walk us through the cool work you've been doing with Overlock.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. Hello, community. So let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah. So today I wanna show you the small tool which we made, the open source tool which we made for our needs finally, but it's usable, and hope the community will appreciate it. I mean, to use it for them. Okay, so first of all, it's just a tool which will create the environment for work with Crossplane resources like functions, providers, configurations, and I hope something else, but not yet. Yeah, so first of all, it's possible to create the environments where which is based on kind or K3s or K3d, where already pre-installed installed Crossplane. Yeah, there we could load inside of we could load there some packages like providers, configurations, and functions, as I said, from the local registries or from the remote registries, also private remote registers. Sometimes it's needs. Yeah, it's possible to load the providers, functions, and configurations from X or packages files from their local file system. Yeah, something else, but I will show everything on a demo. First of all, to use it, we have to install it. For sure, it should be installed the Docker. It should be kind or K3d or K3s. We will use kind today. Yeah. Installation is clear. You just run this install sh script by these instructions, and we go to the console and to the terminal. So we see that our last version is installed. I think it works. And yeah, what I'm going to show is that we have nothing running. I mean, in the Docker, so everything is clear. So like we just come to the work and start to our development. So and first of all, we have to create the environment. So environment create, let's say, name it like local environment. It's just a name, could be anyone. So by default, it's kind used, and then creating a cluster with all what we need inside. So while it's creating, I will show what I prepared inside of sources. So it's just small Crossplane workspace, sorry, with a function I made it from templates which we have. Here I have already compiled it into the xpkg, so to save time. Also, I have here the configuration example with sure everything inside. So sure it's just a demo, but it's workable demo. One is for remote configuration. I will show how to load it from the remote. One is here, we have the provider here. I also packaged it already. Also, I just made it from the template. Yeah. So while we talked already, was created the environment. First of all, what we could do with this is just try to see what they're inside. Yeah. So we see that not so much things was installed inside. So we tried to make it lightweight as possible. So we have the Crossplane here. We have Caverna here because of some things which we need some patches or because of Kubernetes fetching process. Other things is standard, so nothing else there inside. So what we do right now is just we will try to load their let's say function from their local environment. So in this case, we have to go to our functions and inside, and just overlock function load. We need to write what function we want to load. Let's say it's how I name it. It's function example. Just give a version. And then we have to define the path to the file, which we need to be function example. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, and if I will execute this command, it will just load function into the local registry, which is not yet installed because it was not required for the beginning. But while installing, while we will load this package into the cluster, it will be activated. So for that, we have to this apply parameter. Sorry. Yeah, and we need to also to put the parameter because yeah, because if we have here the version already default version, yeah, every time we will load, we will upgrade it. Yeah, in this case we just sorry. Apply, yeah. And while we're looking to the cluster already, you see it was started the registry inside, and Crossplane was updated for work with it as default registry. Yeah, and we see that it was already running, loaded, and we see that it was loaded inside and already running. So yeah, no logs, but still. If we go to the function, yeah, we see everything it's loaded and healthy. If we, for example, made the changes and compiled another function, version of function, we again run this command, and you see this was already new version loaded. And if we go to the pods, we will see that's already, yeah, new version of the function was applied here. So 102. Yeah, that's it for with functions. Actually, we could load also remove functions. Let's go to the provider, to the about marketplace, and check what we have there. Let's say we need this one. Yeah, we also go take this URL and yeah, just overlock function, just load, or sorry, I don't remember if it's load possible. Yeah, it's apply. Yeah, and function was applied, and yeah, it's already started. Okay. Same we could do with our provider. So just go log function. Not sorry, the function, but provider apply. Yeah, even we're not here, we could provider provider example also 000 where the path is outside of here. It's IPIs. Yeah. Provider example. Yeah, and file it's provider example. Also apply. Great. Oh, sorry. Effect path. Yeah, sorry. It's not right command. It's not applied because we are loading. We're not applying remote so from URL. Yeah, it was loaded, and we see that provider. Yeah, it's already installed and already healthy. So yeah, this one. Yeah, with configurations the same. So I will not show it, but it works. I will show with configuration another demo. Let's say we are, that's good if we could build these XPKG files with Crossplane CLI, but sometimes we need, let's say, in real time, change something in configuration, and it will be nice to save time, just to save the file and everything would be applied. We will do this right now. So let's go to our APIs and configuration example. Sorry. Yeah, check it. Yeah, I see it. I have already precompiled, but it's not the case for now. Yeah, we just run configuration serve and path where the package is stored. Yeah, that's it. It started to be served, and we will see that our current version already shall be installed. So we check configuration. Yeah, it's already through. If we take a look to the package, we have dependency here. This dependency is a function, because in composition we have a mode pipeline and this patch and transform function. So what I have here as example is just a small XRD with X bucket with some fields like region, string, and in composition I have just a bucket with some things like region also. It's very simple. It's already installed. If we could check, it's already X buckets here with these fields. Yeah. And now, for example, I want to add some field there. Yeah, I just comment this example, and we'll see that's in a few seconds. I think it's already was added. If you see here, location was not before. For example, I wanna, let's check if the buckets from the composition was created. Sure, it will be not ready to use, but anyway, so we just check the bucket. Yeah. No, it's not installed. It's not installed because, because I want to show how we could add dependencies, because you see this provider which we use, which provide this resource, this bucket resource. It's not installed because I comment this dependency in single time. When I will comment and save, the dependency will be installed. Yeah, you see this S3 and family provider was installed, and in a few seconds it will be already healthy and we could continue to use it. Yeah, it's because pod's running. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. What I want to show after that, when I will be ready, that's when we'll currently, when we will see this bucket in the cluster, the region will be our default one. Yeah, because the patches was commented. And after I will add them, the region will be patched with the version which is from this example will be, so region location, and will be already provided by composition. So yeah, it's installed. Let's go and check their dependencies. What we need to create already our example. Let's go to the examples. yeah, sorry, bigger. Yeah, so example, we have a single one here, so we just apply it. Let's say, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it was created. So we go to the X buckets. We see that it's still false, but it will be ready soon. Yeah, because it's not ready because it will not be ready because we're not connected to the AWS. But anyway, we could check that bucket. It's here, and we see inside our USS2. And after we go and comment this patch, it immediately should come to be already West 1, EU West 1, because we defined it in example here. Yeah. So without any loading of or compiling of the building, we could manage and apply the changes immediately. Yeah, it's related to this feature. Also, I want to show that we'll stop that. I want to show that we could load the configuration, for example, from the remote source, which is private. In this case, it's very easy. Let me I prepared the command. It's a simple command. So in this case, if we need to load something from the private remote OSI registry, we need to create the registry there inside of cluster. For that, it's simple command where we're just write the overlock registry, create the URL to our GitHub company or organization, username, password, email, blah blah, everything here. So we just run it. Yeah. And it was created. Immediately we could just copy paste this URL and run overlock configuration load, and this command. Sorry, it's not about load, it's about the apply, and was applied. And then we go to the configuration, we see the remote configuration was already synced. Yeah, I think that's it. What I want to show could be different things, like we could apply also directly from the Abound marketplace, the functions, providers, any function and provider, any resources, and actually that's it. Sorry, maybe some bugs or other stuff, but it's in development process. So
awesome, Evgeny. Thanks for showing that off, man. I think I like that, there's a number of different development scenarios of like, hey, I'm developing a function or developing a configuration, and then this tool kind of helps you, iterate on those, build them, get them into your cluster, test them, spin around like that. So that's pretty cool. A quick question I had is, you demonstrated the serve functionality for a configuration of like, you make a change and then it's like kind of, in the background, like immediately taking it and putting it into the cluster, updating it. So you don't have to do like another apply each time you want to. It's just actively hot loading it, kind of hot reloading it. Does that work for functions and providers also, or is serve only work for configurations?
Actually, it's planned to be done, to be created for that, because in case of configurations, it's easy because it's just YAMLs which we spec just and deploy. In case of Go, we need to build, it's a bit longer.
Yeah, compile
but
and whatnot.
But it's possible actually because actually the actions which is done on the ground will be almost the same. Just this building process, will take a time. It depends in case of provider, you have the possibility to just run provider, which is connected to the cluster and already work with the context. With functions, we have also tools so in the Crossplane CLI, but for the configurations, which is in our case, it's more I'll say complex. We create a lot of configurations, and in this case, this thing it's more important. But sure, it's planned, and we will do, I think.
Cool, nice. So there's there's more development work that will be happening on Overlock. Cool, dude. Very neat. Does anybody else have any questions for Evgeni while he's here? All right. I know that could have been useful. I'm just thinking to some of the some demos I've been doing last minute, Evgeni, for like KubeCons and stuff like that. Speaking and showing off stuff. I tend to do demos really late in the process there. I can imagine a tool like this being useful of like, okay, like this isn't working. I need to iterate on it. I need to rapidly test and stuff instead of like, okay, got to build the thing, got to push it here, got to pull it here, or try some other crazy stuff. So it seems useful. I wish I had it, in the past. Cool, man. Well, thank you for coming and showing it off. Really appreciate that. And thanks for, sharing with the community and like, just being active there, man. That's really cool to see that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. With that, that's the end of our time. That's the end of our agenda. We are all done here. So hopefully folks be able to recharge over the new year. And we'll see everybody in January and keep on working towards the 1.19 release. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.